You've seen the power of the body work, how little I had to do. I'm always amazed, even when I do it myself, at what kind of responses I get from people. How powerful it is to just rub the body in a few of the right ways, and the way it can change the circulation, the temperature of the body, move that blood and stimulate the nerves. But there's even a greater way, a more powerful way to do that. It's called hydrotherapy. Hydro just means water. So really what we're talking about is water therapy. All the natural healers of old used hydrotherapy in their clinics, along with the herbs, along with the foods, along with all the programs to stimulate the great healings that you've heard about. You know, nowadays people swallow a few herb capsules and expect a miracle. It doesn't work that way. Sometimes it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of hard work to be well. And hydrotherapy has to be part of everybody's program, and especially a part of the Incurables program. John Harvey Kellogg of Battle Creek, Michigan, he cured the incurables using water therapy, whole foods, and body work. The power of the body work and the water therapy. There was a doctor named Benedict Lust who came over to this country from Europe. Benedict Lust had a method he called the blood washing method, where he kept you in hot and cold applications for 8 hours straight. You can imagine the power of that. Here's a book that I brought here called My Water Cure by Father Sebastian Knipe, written in the late 1800s. This book is not only an herbal, it contains many pictures of herbs and how to use them, but these old herbals contain something else. And as you can see in this book, they contained all types of water therapies. How to apply the water, what temperature of the water to use, where to put it on the bottom picture up and down the spine. And there's even more pictures on every page of various applications of hot and cold water onto the body and how to use it. So that's what we're going to go into next, hydrotherapy. You know, a few years ago I went down to one of the last operating hydrotherapy clinics in the United States. I thought I wanted to experience the great old treatments that were in this country years ago. When I walked up to this clinic, what did I see? The last clinic that was open, out of 12 that were there, only one was left, and there were elderly people sitting all over the porch with their heads down, almost drooling on the floor. And I thought, oh no, this is a sanitarium. Well, I want to see it anyway. So I went in, I said, give me the full hydrotherapy treatment. What did they do? They put me in a hot tub, made me drink hot water. Then they took me out and put me in a shower, and cold water jets hit me all over the body. Then I went into another hot tub and a steam bath. Then they put me in a room, and they put hot packs and ice packs all over my body. They finally put me in a wheelchair where they wheeled me out to the front, where I sat just with all these other people staring with a drool coming out of my mouth, and I realized there was nothing wrong with these people. That was just the power of hot and cold water and how it affects your body, your mind, and your spirit. You know, these spas still operate all over Europe, in Belgium, in Luxembourg, in France, in Germany, even in England, even in what we could say conservative England. They have hydrotherapy spas everywhere. The bottom line, we all need to include the applications of hot and cold in this program. Why? Because hot and cold dramatically move the blood more than anything else you could do, more than body work. Hot water sedates you, relaxes you. And while it's relaxing you, it relaxes your muscles. Your muscles loosen up. And it also brings all the blood in your body to the very surface. That's why your skin turns red. Cold water does just the opposite. It stimulates you. It contracts the muscles, and it drives all the blood that's on the surface of your body into the deeper organs. By changing from hot to cold, and by hot to cold again, you bring the blood to the surface, you drive it to the center, you're moving that blood through the body. It is dramatic, as you're going to see. But first, there's one first step before we start any hydrotherapy program. It's called plastic. Make sure that you cover your bed, you cover the floors. You're going to see us in a minute. We're going to put plastic everywhere. It's very important because many of the therapies coming up will wet your mattress, will wet your floor, but they'll also stain because we're going to mix herbs with them. So what we're going to do now is put that plastic down. Okay, we've talked about hot and cold showers. Now let's do some. Everybody's got a shower. This is the first place to begin. I have Hillary in the shower here, and normally you'd want to take a minute or two between hot and cold repetitions, but we're going to do it a little faster. Make sure, like Hillary has, that you get your head under the water, that you get it running down your spine, and that you take that shower about as hot as you can stand it. Now we're going to have Hillary turn the water all the way to cold. And believe me, we're in the wintertime here up in the mountains of Virginia. This water is cold. And you'll see what happens is when you get into the cold water, you have involuntary breathing. Okay, it makes you hyperventilate. Okay, it contracts your diaphragm. It forces you to breathe. This is wonderful. We're getting more oxygen in. Okay, now let's turn it back up to hot. We're repeating that. You notice her skin went white where that cold water hit. The hot water brings the blood to the surface, relaxes those muscles, and sedates you. Now we'll go to the full cold again. Big breath. Take a breath, Hillary. Good. Yes, and you can see the change that it makes. That cold water now stimulates her body, takes the blood, and moves that blood deep within her body and contracts her muscles. Now, Hillary, just go ahead and enjoy a nice warm shower. Many people are concerned, can I do this on the elderly? Can I do it on small children or people with sensitive skin conditions or a weak heart? Of course, but just use your common sense. Start with just cool and warm changes in the water, and after a week or so, when those people are used to it, you can go to the more extremes of the hot and cold, especially because they'll be healthier then. So don't worry about it. Get them in the shower and get the temperature changes happening. Now, what's very important is that we massage the areas, the troubled areas. If you have breast cancer, do the hot and cold right on the breast and make sure that you massage that breast well. If it's a hip problem, get the hot and cold on that hip. If it's your ovaries or your bowel, let it be on your abdomen. Make that hot and cold specifically on the area where you're having a problem, where you have a tumor, where you have your cancer, where you have your disease, and make sure you massage that and do the hot and cold right on the area. Okay, now you've seen what water can do when used on the outside of the body, how it stimulates the circulation. But hydrotherapy is also all about using water to clean the inside of the body. And one of the greatest internal cleansing hydrotherapy treatments there is an enema, or what we might call a high enema, and that's what I'm going to explain now. If you can see on Hillary, I've painted a picture of the colon. And I'd like to go over that a little bit so you get an idea of how big that colon is and exactly where it is. This arrow right here points to what's called the ileocecal valve. The ileocecal valve is where the small intestine, the ileum, the last part of it, enters the cecum, which is the first part of the large intestine. And that's what the C stands for right there. That's the beginning part of your large intestine, also called the colon. This little black area here is the appendix, which is a small immune aggregation that attaches to the bottom of the cecum. It's designed to pick up any bacteria, fungus, or parasites that may enter the large intestine and then enter immune cells into that colon to clean it out and fight that bacteria. We have the ascending colon here, where the colon moves up, and it actually goes right up under the rib cage on this side, about an inch. And this is called the hepatic flexure just because of its location near the liver. As the colon goes across your body, this is called the transverse colon. This area here is the splenic flexure, or the turn right near your spleen. And as it goes down, this D stands for the descending colon, the S for the sigmoid. It has a trap here, almost like the trap under your sink at your house, and then goes out to the rectum and out. You can get an idea here how big this colon is and how important it is to keep it clean and how much waste it can actually store. Okay, now you don't have to know the anatomy of the bowel, the physiology of it is. You don't even have to know the names of the parts. I just wanted to show you where it is, and then we're going to begin a high enema. What a high enema is we're cleaning out not just the rectum, but the entire bowel. We're going to introduce water over a series of enemas all the way to Hillary's cecum and get everything out of there. And this is going to be the first step in the next hydrotherapy treatment we're going to do. But this is something that everybody should know how to do in every family. People call me, what about appendicitis? You want to know the first thing to do for appendicitis? Do a high enema and stop eating. In fact, anytime you're sick, the cold, the flu, whatever, a great way to start is to stop taking food in through the mouth and get whatever waste in your body is out. That's one of the greatest first steps towards healing yourself. So what we're going to do next is we're going to introduce water into her whole colon. Okay, we're about to give Hillary an enema. Again, this is not a big deal. If you want to see big deals and radical treatments, I suggest you take a tour through the hospital. This is an enema. It's a simple technique. There's many different types of enema kits. This is probably the one that you see most often in your store. It can be used as a hot water bottle or an enema bag. But being that it's closed, you have to stop, open it up, refill it. This is an enema kit here that I brought from Italy. This one has an open top. It's much better because we can refill it as we need it without having to stop the process. This bag here, if you have one at home, you may want to cut a hole in it. Cut a hole in the top and modify it so you can keep adding water while you're giving the enema so you don't have to stop the process. Another thing, you can't do an enema on yourself. It's even hard for one person to do an enema on you. So this is a family event. You have to have more people in. I'm going to need Sandy to help me hold it. I'm going to administer it. And Hillary's job is just to lie there and relax. The next step is getting a good lubricant. Now you can use Vaseline, but remember it's petroleum jelly. I'd rather put things like this in my car than on my body. What would be better is an herbal ointment, but today all we have is olive oil, which works wonderfully. The first step is make sure you get your fingers very well lubricated. What you want to do is find her anus, because that's where we're going to put the tube to make this enema work. Don't be shy, don't be modest. There's no time for that right now. This person is ill, we're saving their life, we're cleaning out their bowel. And this isn't a radical therapy. If you want to see radical, go to the hospital. The first thing we want to do is open her cheeks wide enough to find her anus. And when you see it, go ahead and put your finger in. Just slowly. Hillary, take a deep breath for me in and let it out. Good. And I'm just inserting my finger gently into her anus. We want to lubricate it, and this is also incredibly relaxing. You know, many body therapists said that this was the first chakra or the root of the energy for the human body. The bottom line is when you put a finger in someone's anus, it's very relaxing for them as long as they continue to breathe. And now I'm going to get a little more lubricant and do that again. And just breathe in, Hillary, and relax. And it's okay to rock the person a little bit. Be tender, be gentle. But we're going to have a high enema. How does that feel, Hillary? You feel relaxed? Good. Your job is just to lie there and keep breathing. Good. The next step is to lubricate the tip of the enema. Don't be stingy with your lubrication, especially since we're using olive oil. Put plenty on there. Now, to insert the tip, the first thing we did is we let water run through the enema hose to purge the hose of air bubbles. So it's filled with water now. The second thing, again, is I open her cheeks and I say, Hillary, take a big breath for me again. And as she inhales, I go ahead and put the tip in. Okay there? Good. And now we're going to start to let in the water. And Hillary, I just want you to continue to breathe for me if you would. And I'm just adjusting the flow with my fingers, just by pinching the hose. That works fine. And Sandy's going to tell me about the water. As I open it up now, I'm going to let a little water in, and we're going to watch that water level and see that it's going down. And it is. And Hillary, your job again is just to breathe. And the first time you do it, you may just fill the person's rectum with a cup of water, and they may have to get up and go to the bathroom. That's fine. It'll probably take 2 or 3 tries like this before their rectum is empty and you're actually going to introduce water into the colon itself, into that lowest part on the left-hand side, the sigmoid colon, where that's the first place you'll begin to feel this water. Now I'm going to let a little more in, Hillary. You feel that anywhere, Hillary?
Mm-hmm. In my
Okay. So I'm going to pull the towel here up a little bit. And Hillary, can you point to us and show us where you feel it? Right there. And of course you can see that that's right in the middle of her descending colon that we looked at before. I'm going to let a little more water in. Okay, you let me know.
Okay, I think now.
Okay, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to pull it out. Hang right there, Hillary. Just breathe. Breathe. Hang there. Okay, we got water up through halfway of her transverse colon. She felt some cramping, and so she went and voided that. Fine, that's what happens. Rarely will you introduce enough water to get to the person's cecum or appendix on the first try. It might take 2 or 3 tries. So we're going to start again. Big breath in, Hillary. And as she lets it out, I'm going to insert the tip. Good. And then I'm going to open it up for the water. And Hillary, again, I just want you to lie there, relax, and breathe. If you can, when you're doing that, it's okay to rock the person a little bit and give them a few nice squeezes. Sometimes even working on the feet a little bit or the calves can help the person relax that abdomen and take in more water. Water level going down? Good. And you tell me if you feel any cramping, Hillary, and at that point I'll hold the water off for a few minutes for your bowel to relax. How's that feel? Fine. And do you feel the water in the lowest part of your colon yet?
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's a little warmer.
We're using a little warmer water to relax her muscle. And of course we put a little lobelia tincture in it, and that lobelia again will stop the spasm and let us get in more water. I'm going to feel so I can see, I can feel the water there. Now in order to get that water into her transverse colon, I'm going to ask her to lie on her back. Now this is a little tricky. Hillary, I want you to slowly move over into your back, but I'm going to have you lift that leg up. Oh. I said it was a little tricky. Okay, we have water now that's moved all the way up the descending colon, across the transverse colon, and now we're going to let Hillary down, and we're going to get the water over into her ascending colon and cecum by having her lie on what is her right side. Okay, Hillary, you want to come down slowly? Good, and just keep breathing. And I'm going to have you put this foot down while I keep the enema tip held in. Just go ahead and bring it down. Keep breathing. And then now I want you to slowly bring that leg up here so I can get this hose around. Perfect. And now just slowly keep breathing. Let yourself roll over. Wonderful. And just relax and keep breathing. And now, Hillary, if you'd move your head back towards the shower there a little bit. And now what we're doing is we're letting that water fall right down into the beginning of her colon, which is the ascending colon and the cecum. And I can feel the water there. Can you feel the water in you right down there, Hillary? And you can hear it. You can hear it. It sounds like a watermelon. She's full. And now we're going to turn off the water because she's cramping a little bit. Let her relax and breathe, and I'm going to keep her here and rock her a little bit to relax and breathe. Now I've shut this off. Thank you, Sandy. A couple things. If it gets a little smelly in the bathroom, again, we have our eucalyptus and our orange oil or whatever essential oils you want that will not only disinfect the air, but certainly make it smell a lot better. And also, don't forget, you have your cayenne and your lobelia tinctures. Always keep them on hand. Hillary felt a little faint earlier on the toilet. I put some cayenne tincture in her mouth and that ended that. She felt fine immediately. So always remember to keep that cayenne and lobelia tincture on hand. Keep breathing. Now I want to tell you about one of the most powerful natural healing treatments known. This treatment can literally bring people back off the deathbed. It has saved thousands of people's lives. This treatment is called the cold sheet treatment. And the cold sheet treatment's very old. Like Father Sebastian Knipe that I told you about earlier, who used herbs and hydrotherapy treatments, and many of the doctors of old using those hydrotherapy treatments, Dr. Christopher also used hydrotherapy treatments and mixed them with some of his new herbal treatments to design what he called the cold sheet treatment. But this treatment goes back hundreds of years. I've seen it in volumes of hydrotherapy books. It's a very old treatment to save people's lives. It's been used for pneumonia. It's been used for breathing disorders. It's been used for cancer. Anytime a person isn't responding to other treatments, this is a treatment to do. And it's a big part of the Incurables program. I suggest during the Incurables program that a person does it once a week, if not more. Now, over the years, patients have said to me, isn't this treatment too intense? No. I suggest that we're talking about a person that's dying. What do you have to lose? If you don't do something, this person may die on you. This treatment is not that intense. It's not radical. Again, I tell you, if you want to see radical, you go into the hospital. You see someone's rib cage sawed in half with a bypass surgery. You see someone's belly hacked open and half their bowel cut out. And I tell you, this is not a radical treatment. That's radical treatment. So let's talk about this cold sheet treatment. You know, many people still have got very upset when I've done this treatment. I do this treatment in every school I teach at worldwide, whether it's naturopathic or herbal, on one or more of the students, and we have had tremendous changes, tremendous turnarounds. You know, a few years ago in London, England, I did this treatment on a young lady, and it was powerful. It was not only life-changing for her physically, but also life-changing for her emotionally. Do you know that she had so much drama happen to her during this treatment that she was screaming afterwards? In fact, I wasn't even in the room. I had left the room. The students were outside. One of them had actually called an ambulance. They were very frightened that I was killing this woman, and she was actually screaming, "Stop, you're killing me." They had no idea that she was going through an emotional change, and that also she was healing something that happened to her when she was very young. This treatment is a very powerful treatment, physically and emotionally. And I want you to know something. That woman is now my wife. I certainly don't marry everyone I've done the cold sheet treatment on, but that woman has changed her life dramatically and is totally involved in herbs and natural healing. So I want you to know, A, this is one of the most powerful natural healing herbal and hydrotherapy treatments there is. 2, it can bring a person back from the dead. And 3, I've never seen anybody hurt by this treatment ever, as long as you follow the steps that I'm going to lay out for you right now. First, the first step is we run a hot bath, a very hot bath, and we're going to have this person eventually get in this bath. But before that, we want to make this bath actually a large herbal tea. So what we're going to do is put some herbs. This is just a dish towel. Again, we're trying to use very simple things that everybody has right around their home. This is just a dish towel, and I'm going to make a depression in it. And in the bath, we use 3 herbs: cayenne pepper, ginger root, and mustard. And how much to put in? You know, many people call us and write us and say, well, what are the proportions? Again, we're not building computer circuitry here. It doesn't matter. I just say take a handful, okay? We're putting herbs in this sock. We're basically making a big tea sock. We're going to soak this in that tub and make a big herbal tea. Secondly, after the cayenne, we're going to put in some ginger root. Again, just grab a good handful. This is ginger powder. And put it in the sock. Third, we're going to put in some mustard. Now, we didn't have much mustard. We just bought this in the grocery store. Some people will say, hey, it wasn't organic, or was this very good quality? Who cares? We're saving people's lives here. You get the best you can. The bottom line is don't use any excuses to not use this treatment. And we're just going to add about a whole can of this mustard powder in there. In fact, all of you who know me, I like cayenne, so my feeling is, hey, let's get a little more cayenne into this. You can see this even has some full cayenne peppers. If it's powdered, fine. If it's the whole peppers, fine. Use what you have. Now basically what we're going to do is just fold this over and draw it up and turn it into a little tea bag. I have some pieces of string here that I've already cut up, and this is just cotton string. And basically all you want to do is take your cotton string, hold it, and wrap it around this bag. Leave a little space there because this is going to swell up when these herbs start soaking up the water. And then we're just going to tie a nice knot in this. Now I suggest you find just a cotton string or a hemp string and just tie yourself a nice knot. And what we're going to do with this is just put it in the tub and make a large herbal tea, just like this. What we're going to do is put this in the tub, and you can see as I begin to squeeze it, what you can see here is actually the color coming out, the mustard, the ginger, and of course the cayenne. And I'm just giving it a good head start here, squeezing this bag, and we're making a big herbal tea here. And of course you'll smell it, it's very strong. What this does is this cayenne with the hot water and the ginger and mustard goes actually right into the pores of the skin. The whole idea of the cold sheet treatment is we're stimulating an artificial fever. When your temperature rises in your body, dramatic things happen, but it's the best boost for your immune system. This is why you get a fever. We don't want to stop a fever. If we stop a fever, we stop the body's immune system in its best action. For every degree of temperature rise in your body, the speed at which your white blood cells travel is doubled. This means that if you have a fever of 104, your white blood cells are moving 64 times faster through your bloodstream and through your lymphatic system to eat up bacteria, virus, fungus, to eat up that cancer tumor. So if you don't have a fever, we're going to produce one. The cayenne, the ginger, the mustard, and the hot water go into your pores and stimulate a temperature rise. So this is step one, making the hot herbal bath. Remember, it's equal parts of cayenne, ginger, and mustard. Hey, if you don't have one of them, make it anyway. Just make a cayenne or a ginger or a mustard bath. But try to get all three. Don't skimp with the herbs, put a lot in, and get the color of this water yellow, gold to red. This is the first step, a big, hot herbal bath. Now we're going to begin part two, the rectal injection. Then we put her into this wonderful bath of herbal tea we've made. The rectal injection is a very important part of this. We've cleaned out her colon already, but now we want to give her, when we talk about injections in herbology, we're talking about an implant into the rectum. You can use aloe vera, you can use all types of things to soothe and heal. But for the cold sheet treatment, we use a mixture of 50% raw organic apple cider vinegar, 50% distilled water, and garlic cloves. So put in a blender, and we have our blender right here, put 8 ounces of raw organic apple cider vinegar. The best brand on the market today that I know of is called Spectrum. Another 8 ounces of distilled water, and we put in 7 cloves of garlic today. And then you blend this up to liquefy it. Now we want to introduce it into her rectum, but an enema bag can only hold very fine liquids. You can't put any real unstrained herb tea through an enema bag. And so that's where the rectal syringe comes in. This is a rectal syringe, and you can buy it in any drugstore across America. It's basically just a bulb. It's like a big ear or nose syringe, and it has an enema tip on it that just pops off, and then you can fill it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this mixture of apple cider vinegar, water, and garlic and pour it. And now we filled our bulb syringe with our apple cider vinegar, water, and garlic. And then you just snap the top back on. This top also unscrews for cleaning purposes, and it has a little washer in there that keeps the water in. This is a great implement for if you have inflammation of the bowel. You can introduce aloe vera. You can put a lot of things into the rectum very quick with this. Remember your lubrication, so we're going to put a little lubrication on this tip. This is something that you squeeze out very quickly because the garlic is warm in the rectum and does slightly burn. In fact, many people go into a little bit of a cramp when this enters the rectum. She'll void it very soon after I put it in, but she won't be able to get it all out. Some of that garlic will stay in there. And garlic is an important healer, and throughout this whole cold sheet treatment, because garlic is our greatest herbal, broad-spectrum antibiotic, antiviral, and antifungal. So we're definitely going to be using our garlic internally and through the bowel during this program. Remember, when you insert anything into the anus, to have the person breathe and look where you're going. Very important. So take a big breath, Hillary. And I'm just inserting the tip into her anus. And take a breath in again. Good. And just let the person relax there for a minute and breathe before you insert it. Now I'm going to squeeze the bulb syringe all at once. It only takes about a second to introduce all this liquid into her rectum. So big breath in, Hillary. And let it out.
Whoa.
And that's a common response. Breathe. And what are you feeling? So now that you've voided the rectal injection and the cramping stop, and that's usual. The cramping usually only lasts for a few minutes. Now it's very important that you cover any sensitive areas of your body with Vaseline. I generally don't like to use Vaseline for anything, but this is a time and place for it because it doesn't come off with water at all. And so it's very important at this point that you cover your vagina, your anus, and even your nipples if they're sensitive. Cover them with plenty of Vaseline. The only problem is if you don't use enough. And if you would just start running some hot water, because we want to... How is the temperature of that, Hillary?
Fine.
Oh, okay. So crank the hot water on, and let's add more hot water, and the overflow will just go through the drain. And in there, you're going to find that bag of herbs. And what I'd like you to do is pick it up just like you're brewing a tea and squeeze it. And we'll get more of that cayenne and that ginger and that mustard going into the water, that tub.
Can I rub it on me?
Sure, absolutely. In fact, sometimes that feels really nice to take that bag of tea and go ahead and massage it all over your body. And we're going to keep adding hot water now until it gets so hot she can't stand it. And then the next step that's very important while she's in the tub is to get her to drink at least 6 full cups of hot herbal tea. And so we're going to start with our first one. Hillary, here's your first cup of tea. Now the tea is very important because we're heating her up from the outside and from the inside. And of course the herbs in the tub are going into her pores and heating her up from the outside. The tea is going to go in and heat her up from the inside. What kind of tea to use? Generally anything that will make her sweat. Dr. Christopher used yarrow, which is just fine. But ginger and peppermint work just fine too. So today we're having her drink some peppermint ginger tea. We're going to get 6 cups down her. Now everybody complains a little bit about, do I have to drink that much tea? Dr. Christopher's answer to that was, if you tip your head to the side and the tea pours out your ear, you can stop. So the bottom line is, don't stop drinking the tea. Get as much as you can in. She already drank 1 cup. That's terrific. We're on to number 2. Again, in the air, you should be smelling in the air the cayenne, the ginger, and the mustard fumes. And of course, that's why Hillary's coughing a bit. This is a great treatment for the lungs, really opening up those lungs. And Hillary, you can lie back a little bit. You don't want to get this obviously in your face, eyes, mouth, but your armpits and your shoulders are okay. It's important to submerge most of the body. How's the heat of that bath now? Nice and hot?
You can't tell because the cayenne pepper's so hot.
So you're already feeling the cayenne, the ginger, and mustard into your pores?
Oh, absolutely. Especially where I rub that tea bag. Like a
And again, it's important to tell the person to consume as much tea as possible. You have to be a little heavy-handed here. You have to push a little bit. Remember, 1 cup after the other. No one stays in this tub more than, say, 15 or 30 minutes. That's about the record because the cayenne pepper, mustard, and ginger starts getting very hot in the pores. So get that tea in and push if you have to. Remember, you're not doing this to make a friend. You're doing this to save somebody's life. Also remember, keep that cayenne and lobelia on you because she's going to start feeling faint maybe a little later and we'll bring her right back around with that cayenne tincture. So again, we're pushing Hillary to drink as much tea as possible. She's only been in this tub for about 2-3 minutes now and she's already feeling the heat of the herbs into her pores and also the heat that's starting to build inside her body from almost finishing her 3rd cup of tea. Good job, Hillary. Something to always remember with treatments like this, we need willing volunteers. If someone doesn't want to do it, hey, I'm not in the business of torturing people. We want to help people get well, and this will do it. Go ahead, good, and lie back again. Let it get up over your shoulders if you can. And we have the next cup of herbal tea right here for you. But you can take a little break here before the next one. Hillary, can you tell me what you're feeling?
Just intense heat on the surface of the skin.
Yeah. Just keep breathing and try to relax as much as possible. Good.
God.
And it's important to let me know at any time if you feel weak or faint. And always remember, have someone with you when you're administering this to someone because you're going to need another helper to help get her up out of the tub if she's feeling very weak and faint. Again, as long as you have your cayenne tincture, no one will faint on you, and you'll see that if she starts to get a little weak, we'll bring her right back around with this. Okay, Hillary, I'd like you to work on this next cup of tea. I think we're probably only going to be about 5 more minutes in this tub, maybe less. So push to get that cup down. Temperature of that tea okay? You feel the sweat coming on at all?
No.
Okay, it will come. How's the temperature of the water, Hillary?
Hot.
Can we add a little more hot water, or it's
I don't
about?
think so.
Okay, all right. Good job.
Oh.
That's
God.
cup number. I lost count. 4, I think.
4.
3 or 4.
4. It feels like when I have a fever, And the feeling that my skin feels really extra sensitive.
Yes. And you are beginning to have a fever. This is one of the ways that you can create an artificial fever, and that's exactly what we want to do here. A little later on, I'll tell you the power of what this fever is doing in the body. Hillary, I want you to breathe there. And I want you to try to work on this other cup of tea. Good. Good. Just do your best, Hillary. You're doing great. Always remember, you have to keep the pressure up with the tea. The only time anybody has ever been hurt by a fever is a dry fever. So we want to make sure that she has lots of liquids in her body. Great, Hillary. Sure. Hillary, you can lie back and relax in there if you want for a minute. No, you can stay just like that. This is your show now. You can do whatever you want. Always remember to keep plenty of tea going into this person. Remember, push that tea. No one has ever been hurt as long as they keep plenty of liquids in. It's only a dry fever where people have been hurt. Keep breathing, Hillary. Good. Good. Yeah. You feel faint at all, or are you okay? Good. Your face is red. Everything looks good. We'll probably do one more cup of tea, and then I think we'll get you out. Remember again, some of you watching this may think that this is intense, but I again tell you, the intensity and the radical behavior is from the doctors and in the hospitals. We're doing programs to stimulate people to save their life. Don't forget that.
Doing a little emotional purging.
That's good, Hillary. Can I get you to lie back and cover those shoulders? Okay. You can always say no, too. Good. And if we can get down, if we can get down just a little lower and get those, perfect, beautiful, good job. You're doing great. Always give a person a lot of encouragement, but keep the pressure up. Good job, Hillary. And you're going to be the judge, the one to tell me when you want to get out. Most people want to get out a little sooner than I like them to get out. So when a person finally tells you, that's it, I can't take anymore, I usually try to keep them in the tub another, anywhere from 30 seconds to 5 minutes to really get the most out of the herbs in this tub and this herb tea.
Oh, God, it's so hard to relax.
Yeah. Do you feel any sweat now? Perspiration? I see a little on your forehead. We're going to bring you one more cup of tea. You're doing good. Hang in there. Again, sometimes I've had people during this bath treatment have spasms in their muscles, sometimes terrific spasms in the muscles. And there's where you can use the lobelia tincture. We have our next cup of tea. I got it right here. And I'm just going to set it here for you, Hillary. One more cup, and I think that'll about do it. Yes. Sometimes I have small herbal lies when someone's in the tub to encourage them, to keep them going. Now remember, Hillary is healthy. There wasn't anything wrong with her to begin with, so this is just a great cleanse for her. But people with asthma and lung problems at this point could be coughing up cups of mucus at this point. Other people can be having other things. People with tumors can feel pain there. All sorts of physical and emotional things will happen in this tub. Keep your cayenne and lobelia tincture with you. Keep the tea going in.
I don't know, chills.
Good. You sometimes will feel difference, hot and cold, shaking. Some people will begin to shake. Terrific. There's nothing wrong with vibration. That means more circulation, more energy is going through her body. Probably a little later, we'll see a lot of vibration coming out of her body. Somewhere along the line, people started to think that vibration or shaking is bad and we had to stop it. No. Let the body flow. Let that energy flow. Let those nerves be on fire. We're waking up the body here. Ah, come on, let it out, Hillary. Good. Couple good screams. Come on. Good. Ah, let's get it out of there. Good. Good. Let those bogeys out. Yes, come on. Ah. Oh, good, good. Okay, we're going to get you out of this tub. So try to relax a little bit now. Calm that breathing. And we're going to get you up out of this tub.
Now?
Yes. Can I get you to stand up for me? Come on, I'm going to help you. Good. Just stay right there. And we're going to bring you out and put you on this, and we're going to have you stand up. Stay right there for a minute. You okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Just going to spread this a little bit. Sandy, get our bucket of ice. Nice snot out coming out of your nose. Yeah, right there's good. Okay, come on out if you would. We're going to stand you right here.
Oh my God.
Just keep breathing. That's your job. And you get the person out of that bath, and what we have prepared here is an all-cotton sheet that's been soaking in water and in ice. And actually, I'm going to put it in here. And this is a cold sheet. We get a lot of the excess water out of it. And we have an ice-cold sheet that we're going to wrap her in. I'm just wringing some of the excess water out of it. And I'll move my... Sandy, if I can get your help, let's open up this sheet. You're going to love this part, Hillary. It's the best. And we begin just placing it on the body. We're going to loosely put it around and bring it around. This is ice cold. It's freezing my hands at this point, but to her it's going to feel good. At this point, we want to get her in bed as soon as possible. If a person's feeling a little weak or dizzy, make sure we have our cayenne tincture right here. Have them tiptoe very slow, because as you can see, she's wrapped up in a sheet. Just take it easy, Hillary. Breathe. And we're going to get you right around here. We're going to sit you down and just let you, okay. Overdose of plastic, hang on. We actually might have to just kind of lift her up and get her on there. Okay, come on. We're going to take you around this side. And sit you down. Good. I'm just going to scoot you right into the middle of the bed here. Very good. Make sure the sheet is securely around her. And I want you, to put your feet right out there. Relax. And now we're going to wrap her with blankets. Sandy, would you help me on the top there? Just going to... And we can put it just about at this width here. Just right over the top of her. Good. Leave a little down at the bottom, and we'll tuck that right under her feet. And we're going to put another blanket on. Right on top of that. Get her tucked in, nice and warm. How do you feel in there? Okay? Okay, at this point we have Hillary in the bed, nice and wrapped up. And this is the point where many people apply a garlic paste to the feet, but I don't always find that necessary. On the Incurables program, I have people using 3 to 6 cloves of raw garlic a day anyway, and also during this program we put garlic into the rectum, so I don't always find it necessary to use the garlic paste. The main thing is to keep the person warm. You'll notice that she'll begin to radiate heat off her body, and if you feel under that sheet, you'll feel she's getting very hot. Once we get the person out of this blanket, they can stay in there all night if they want, but once we get them out of that in the sheet, the greatest thing to do is let them shower and help them wash their body with some apple cider vinegar diluted with water. So we have a nice sponge bath of apple cider vinegar. If while the person is lying here, or even during the night, they have to urinate, it's much better that they just urinate here. We're covered with plastic. It's only a little bit of water. There's nothing much in them anyway. And it's much better than trying to unwrap them all, take this all off, get them to the bathroom and bring it back. It's much better if they just have a little water right here in the bed. No problem. Many parents come into my clinic and ask me, can I do this on my children? Sure, it's absolutely wonderful for children. Just use your good judgment and your common sense. Remember, children are more sensitive to all the things that we'd be doing with the cold sheet treatment. So I suggest give them a warm bath. Have them drink a little tea, but you don't have to put the herbs in the bath, and then just either sponge them off with some cold water and wrap them up and put them to bed, or even maybe a little cold towel for a few minutes. Remember, children look at your face to judge what's going on, and I've done this with 1 and 2 and 5 and 10-year-olds, and they've all enjoyed it. But make it a party, have a good time. The whole family can do it. Medicine, science, and the pharmaceutical industry have been creating drugs for this entire century to reduce and suppress fevers. This is a horrible thing to do and goes totally against what your body wants to do to heal itself. Do you know that Americans swallow over 250 million tablets of aspirin a day? Most of that is to suppress fevers. This is ridiculous. There's so many reasons that the fever is a natural response of your body and wants to heal you. Do you know that for every degree of temperature rise in your body, the speed at which your white blood cells, those are the T cells, the B cells, the macrophages, the cells that eat up cancer and tumors and toxins in the body, the speed at which these cells can move through your body is doubled for every degree of temperature rise. That means for a 104-degree fever, these cells are moving 64 times faster in your body and can much more efficiently eat up the waste, the toxins, even the tumors in your body. This is a very important aspect of the healing process. In fact, as your body begins to have a fever, the macrophages emit a material, a chemical called interleukin-1, which tells your body to create even a greater fever. And of course, the cold sheet treatment with the herbs is all designed to create an artificial fever because we're putting garlic and a rectal injection in. That heats up the rectum and starts disinfecting right there. Then we go to the hot bath, a very hot bath that warms the body up from the outside. Then the cayenne and the ginger and the mustard heat it up even more. We have the hot tea going in, and we're creating an even hotter body. Hillary was already running a good temperature in the bath. Then when you get out and you wrap the ice-cold sheet around you, the body senses that is very cold and heats you up even further. And by the time you get into the bed, it's very common to run 101, 102, even a higher fever. Now we're creating a high fever, the immune system works faster, more efficiently, and as she lies here, her body is eating up toxins and poisons that you can't even imagine. Again, hot and cold treatments are used around the world for degenerative diseases. I'd like to take a look at Hillary now and just see how she's doing. She's very relaxed here. Hillary, how are you doing?
I feel very warm and really relaxed. Feels really good.
Good. And this is always the response you get. We've hurt no one with hydrotherapy and herbs, and we've healed thousands of people from degenerative disease.